looks like for me.
All right. There you go. You want to start over?
Yeah. Let's see. I'll tell you at the end
All
of
right.
minute 35.
So, yeah, we're in the middle of this home run derby.
It's hasn't been much of a home run derby
No.
yet.
No.
5-1.
Chief Walker's got Mike Trout. He's just finding his swing
Mike
right
Trout's, yeah, this is a double, triple guy.
now. No power from
No
this guy.
power. Guy's a bum. This is the warm-up round. We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll be
Cuna's my guy.
Good in a little bit.
Dude, where's the power? Come on, Trout.
So I think they wanted us to introduce ourselves to begin, right?
Okay.
Dustin Hall, 9th Reconnaissance Wing Command Chief. Been in the seat there for about 9 months. That's, 24 years in service. Primarily an enlisted aircrew member the majority of my career. And then fortunate enough, Colonel Clark hired me to come over here from Stuttgart, Germany back in March, early March.
Yeah, and I'm Trey Walker, Command Chief 480th ISR Wing. And I've been in the seat about a little over 5 months. Comm guy for about half my career, intel guy for the other half of it, and this is the last stop in my wing tour of our 6th group. That was a terrible pitch.
So you can take time out.
That was up in my.
that.
Yeah, I know you can take time.
Oh,
Oh, that's a smash.
that's gone. You might get a bonus time for that one.
No, it's barely gonna get out. Are you kidding me?
388.
88. 5-4. That was a
5-4.
that was a barn burner.
Barn burner there,
That's
that was good.
anyway. That's who I am. Sorry, got distracted.
Yeah.
And that won't be enough.
That was good. That's the first round.
That was first round. Yeah, that's definitely the.
eliminated.
All right, we should be
Should we do
going
next? Conforto.
Conforto,
for the New
let's
York
see
Mets. So I'm a New
Conforto.
York Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan since '86, since the World Series of '86 when it went through Buckner's leg. Remember any of that?
I remember that.
Yeah,
In
Mookie
fact, so
Wilson hit the ball, went through Buckner's leg. That was Game 6, and then they went on to win in Game 7.
I remember that well. In fact, I actually used to be a Mets fan as a young kid. I used to be able to roll through their 1989 lineup,
Nice.
starting with Mookie Wilson
Yeah.
at the top, and I used to mimic Darryl Strawberry's
Yeah.
stance. Right, those were my guys. Before I really. Growing up in the South, everybody was a Braves fan. So
You had to be.
You had to be a Braves fan.
They won
Ted
like
Turner.
13
14
division-
years in a row,
Yeah.
one World Series.
Yeah, it's crazy.
uh,
That's I think to show our age a little bit. That's I think also when the Expos were in.
that is when the Expos.
division.
Yeah, the
So-
Expos beat us every year.
Get out of here, ball.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why this is my Michael Conforto tribute to him.
You're from New York, right?
No, from Denver.
From Denver.
It's
Okay,
whacked
that
out.
explains the Broncos stuff.
Yeah. So from Denver, but
So-
when I was growing up in Denver, the Rockies weren't.
Yeah,
a
there
thing.
were no Rockies at all. That's what people ask me. So what, Chief, you're from Florida. I go, yeah, I'm from Tampa, but there were no Rays. There were no Marlins. Those teams didn't exist.
That's right.
Luckily, the Rays are American League, and I actually don't mind rooting for them in the American League, especially since they play the Red Sox and the Yankees all the time.
Yeah, they're scrappy too.
They're scrappy, man. They're a good team. They've won more than 90 games the last 2 years.
So how's your visit going, man? It's good.
It's going great. Y'all dialed up perfect weather.
You're welcome.
Joe wasn't expecting. Yeah, thank you.
You bet, man.
And like I said, this is the last group for me to visit in the wing, so it kind of rounds off my first 5 months in visiting all of our airmen.
Like I was telling you yesterday, man, it feels like just one big family. And it started between, when I first got here, it was Colonel Argang and Chief Eischen.
Yep.
And now it's obviously Blaze was in your seat. And then hasn't changed with Colonel Souza and Chief Funkhauser and you, man. We truly appreciate what you guys bring to the fight, and I treat you as my exec, because obviously one of your cats.
Yeah.
And then Commandant ALS Sergeant Mendez.
Yep.
So man, fully integrated as far as across the installation.
Yeah, and that's what we want, and that's all of our guys. Every being a tenant guy at Langley, that's there's nothing more important than our relationships with our installation command chiefs, and I would echo that with Funk here and with you. Like we talked about with the shirts the other day. And I'm technically supposed to give a go no go, but I mean if you guys say they're good to go, I have implicit trust in the folks here. Y'all know what's getting done. So yeah, those relationships matter. They're important.
That's just the people side, Trey. I mean, I know you get the mission. You're getting obviously immersed the last couple of days, but what they do from the mission side, working hand in hand with the 9th, is just you can't do it. And I know you guys do that all across the world, so we appreciate this piece of it. But man, just the OBC alone, right? We talked about that the other day. Just that niche thing that is critical to our platform as a U2. And you guys are crushing it over here in probably what I would like to call suboptimal work environment.
I just left those dudes.
Yep.
I just left that group of PA airmen who are doing. That was a pretty good round.
I'm still hitting. Man, I'm crushing it.
You have 9 home runs.
Yeah, no big deal.
Let's not get killed.
Hold on, give me a minute.
No, you're right. And I'll tell you, I just left the PA guys that are doing the developing of that OBC. Airmen who aren't trained to do that in their tech school, right? And they get here and they all overwhelmingly are like, no, I love the job.
Yeah.
Which what a great attitude. You kind of helped us set it up yesterday. I got to go out and do a chase ride.
Oh yeah.
So kind of get to see the other side of it. The pilots were awesome, really talking us through, what was going on, the sorties he was doing, the touch and goes, and just riding in that Charger.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you get some footage?
Yeah, we got some. Yeah, man, Vic Perez got some good pictures of him. He hasn't sent them to me yet.
What's he waiting on?
I don't know.
That's good, man. That's pretty
my
cool.
social media fans are waiting. They're waiting for an update on that. I don't know where he's at.
That's crazy. I have yet to do that. So I'm super.
You haven't done one yet?
But when everybody comes out, I make sure we get them in there, and I'll get one eventually. I'm not worried about it.
It's fast.
Yeah. Over 100 miles an hour, you guys get?
Yeah, like 122, I think was the highest we went yesterday.
Nice.
That's got to go.
That's gone. 11 more.
Is that what I need? You end up with 12?
447.
Get. Yeah, it's been a great trip.
Good.
3 days, it's gone by fast. And I head down tomorrow to see the unit in Tucson.
Okay.
And check those guys out that technically belong to y'all. Belong to the 548 as well.
You did some time down there, right?
I did. I was actually the first superintendent of that det.
Wow.
When it first stood up under the 548.
That's crazy. What a crazy enterprise to be part of.
It's nuts.
What else? We're supposed to talk about. I think one of the questions they wanted us to talk about was what do Chiefs talk about?
What do Chiefs talk about? We
talk
talk about spike ball.
Talk about a lot about spike ball.
We talk a lot about spike ball.
Talk a lot about.
Yeah.
I tell you, man. When it's very rare that we're sitting around talking about work.
Yeah, I know. That question kind of makes me wonder. Was that from an airman? Who said that?
I don't know where that came from.
That kind of makes me wonder what they think we sit around and talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've been super impressed by and just pleased is that most of the time if we're talking about anything, we're talking. It sounds cliche, whatever, but we're talking about airmen and families, and we don't hardly. If you get a bunch of Chiefs around, you don't hardly talk about mission. You talk about people.
Yep.
And how you doing better. We just got out of a meeting just now, and we're talking about flu shots and how we're going to get the flu shots to the defenders on shift, and how we're going to get the flu shots to the dependents, and all the things, gas prices, and all the quality of life stuff out here in California. If you get enough, if you get the Chiefs around in the right atmosphere, and we're there to talk business, I think that's what I find, and super pleasing that we're actually talking about airmen and their families.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
6.
What do Chiefs talk about?
Take a time out. Your energy, man. He's.
Is he low?
Yeah, he must have been out last.
How do I do that?
Something.
Right there. Let me take a 20-second here.
I think you got to push down in the arrow.
Do I hit down in the air?
No, down. Just down this one right here. Oh.
Come on.
There you go. And they're gonna
Get some Gatorade. Come on, give me some Gatorade.
Come here, guys.
I feel like the next round I'm going to be dialed in.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, Posey's telling you how to double.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hey guys.
Um,
there you go.
Yeah, and that's the most fun thing about this job. I've told people since I've been here is when you talk about the question of what do we talk about, I think I introduced myself. This has been my introduction to the wing, right? And I kind of talk about my family,
Yeah.
just who I am, so that they kind of know. I feel like we just get looked at as, just a chief, just a command chief, and it's like, man, we're more than that. We're just we're not different than any of the airmen. So
It's funny you mentioned that, man. I did some dorm inspections yesterday for our dorm of the quarter program, and there was a thing I wanted in one of these individuals' dorms, and it said dilly gaff. Do you remember that? Dilly gaff?
No.
It's a phrase, and I'm not going to get into it here, but it's a phrase that at the end of it the F stands for something, right?
Okay.
And I said, you know what this means? And they're like, no, I don't know what this means. And I told them, and they're like, oh, Chief, I'm sorry I had that on there. I was like, that's it. That's just it. We're people.
Yeah.
And
there you go. All right, I was closer on that one. So
who do you want to be, Harper or Conforto? Because both my guys advanced.
You choose.
I'll be Conforto. I'll give you a chance.
That's right. It pains me to be
Here, then
Bryce
you can
Harper.
keep going.
All right, I'll be Harper.
All right, we got a question in here from chat. It says, what efforts have you implemented across your wings in response to the tactical pause?
Yeah, so I'll jump off, man, real quick. I'll tell you, we made a real point early on. We heard everybody already saying, this is checking a box. And, nobody that was involved in implementing the tactical pause thought that the tactical pause was the solution to the problem, right? First and foremost. So we've tried very hard, and we've already set up at the wing to have monthly events. So that this is something that's recurring and happening all the time, and that resiliency is. I think there was a lot of benefit across our wing. We had some really great stories of the tactical pause and things that came out of it. And so I think it's just making sure we're talking about it all the time. The tactical pause is not an event on the calendar.
No, you're spot on, Trey. I think just the nature of the title kind of implies it's a one-time thing. But Colonel Clark and I got out ahead of that fairly early and say, hey, this is an enduring process. So much so that, hey, we've challenged and we've implored squadron commanders and group commanders to take a day off. Take a day. It's amazing, right? Most of the time, most of the wing took a day off, and somehow we kept executing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing, right? It's crazy. Same with the 480th and 548th. And granted, you got to get creative with some of your shift workers, but they did that. And so why not do that all the time?
I'm not doing this.
What?
Yeah, I thought I was, but I'm not.
The computer's doing it. Well, you're doing well. You got 3. So that's the biggest thing. And the second part of that is, if we all understand, and I think even the Air Force understands and DoD understands that you're not going to get this kind of education and experience through CBTs, right?
Yep.
Through CBTs or through books or filling the auditorium with 200 people and I'm going to talk at you. You're going to get these through stories. You're going to get these through things you can relate to from your leaders telling you how what they went through. And so Colonel Clark also did, and I did a little bit of that, filming a thing about how we went through. And,
yeah.
And so
you
have to make it relatable to the airmen. So I think that has to be enduring, and you'll see again coming up here in December here at Recce Town about, hey, pushing towards people as we get to the holidays to take that knee, take your resiliency time, and get out of the office and do that.
Yeah, I had a chance I guess it was 2 weeks ago, to interview we had a staff sergeant come forward that's on wing staff, intel dude, Ben Murphy, and he said, "Hey, Chief, I've got a resiliency story of some stuff he went through, and it's powerful." And he said, "I want to share it." This is when the tactical pause came up. Said, "I want to share it," and so we finally just a couple weeks ago put that on video in my office, and that'll come out here soon to the rest of the wing to just kind of hear from one of their own, from an airman in our wing who went through some really dark stuff.
Yep.
And dealt with it, and is a top secret security clearance holding valuable member of an intel wing now. And so that's, I think
it's, and General Holmes mentioned this, and I'm sure you heard this a few weeks ago, 13% more likely to, 13 times more likely to get back into the fight if you exhibit that self-help behavior and self-identify. There's that stigma. I get it of for our defenders to get DNA, do not arm or lose a clearance or flight status, but the stats don't back that stigma up. So we and all of us need to continue to carry that message and say, hey, it's okay. It's actually, matter of fact, I'd rather have that courage from somebody than the opposite.
Hey, I will ask you this on that note, because I had something come up this week. Somebody mentioned to me, because I agree with you, we've gotten better about it, but we've still got some AFPC processes that are not allowing airmen to PCS. And I heard about one, and we got to figure that out. I don't know who's working that.
That are tied to
because of you're not medically cleared to PCS to this place because you have sought out some mental health. And I thought, man, that seems so counterintuitive to what we're trying to say and sell. I don't know who we need to get to. It was one thing on this trip. I thought, man, I need to talk to some lifer.
Yeah, let me know, because that certainly can't be.
Yeah, I hate the thought of we're telling somebody they can't PCS to a location because they did that. And so and who knows? As you dig these things out, you see what's going on.
We got to make sure we stay on top of annotated SpeakCat guides and annotated, all those reporting procedures that are not keeping up with the messaging and how fast the Air Force wants to move with some of this stuff too. So.
Yeah. All right.
What else is coming in?
No questions past that at the moment.
All right, roger that.
What did we have topics coming into this?
One of the questions, Chief, is what have you or your wing done to affect culture change? Do you have any culture change efforts?
Culture change efforts. Okay. Yeah, I'd say what we're doing right now as a wing is a huge culture change, and so I don't bore the audience with the details, but in a nutshell, we are transforming how we do intel in the DCGS in a way that creates smaller analytical teams that are centered around a very specific problem set, that are able to use their analytic brain power to solve problems. That's a huge culture change. It's a shift from how we do things. And as we've stood up pockets of it around the wing, I'll tell you, the boss and I consistently hear airmen say things like, Chief, this is what I thought I had joined the Air Force to do. This is what I thought I was going to do. And super, super excited about that. And it's coming fast and furious. And there'll be some things to work out, but we're working through some of that, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'd say, so just off the top, that's a big one right now. It's going to change the 480th, the way we look.
So similar ilk, right? Nitro Reconnaissance Wing was going through. We're starting our path towards a pretty significant reorganization.
Mm-hmm.
That is, we're moving out pretty quickly, but under the guidance and advice with COMAC and ACC staff, but where we're looking at getting rid of or flattening the organization, maybe getting rid of the groups and creating an A staff with that. That's a definite culture shift that you have to carry the mail for and try to inculcate the wing personnel to that. And part of that is messaging and telling them why. And the best way to talk about culture change and to embed culture change is let everybody know how that's going to affect the lowest person, the lowest airman, right?
Yeah.
The airman's like, why? How does this affect me? And so you got to be able to carry that message. And there's lots of culture change going on. Sergeant Mack, it's a great question, but I think a lot of it comes from the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Like, go fast, go far.
Yeah.
And don't wait for them. And
don't wait.
And this is exactly, I could speak for the 9th, and it sounds like the 40th, we're not waiting, we're moving out.
Yeah, in fact, I used that term with a lot of airmen in the 548th just this week about some of these changes and kind of, when are we going to know about? And man, there's already things you can do. If you're a comm airman, go talk to that analyst now. You don't need to wait on me to go do that. Figure out how you're going to work together, and what these teams are going to look like, and they're doing it. They're doing it. The boss always said, man, just get the problem out there and let these guys solve it, and they'll get after it. they continue to do it.
2 more here. I'll go with the easy one first. Who's winning?
Well, so this is I don't even know. I lost track of did Bryce Harper win the?
Bryce Harper won the championship on the first
I don't even
first
think-
go.
Yeah.
It doesn't really count because I kind of picked him as my guy, but there was a computer controlling.
Yeah, and
it.
I think the computer took over at some point somehow.
Yeah.
So we'll got the
We got the second round going.
Second
already.
round's going now, and I'm going to be Trout. Looks like.
All right. The other one is the relationship between the 48th ISRW and the 9RW going to change, and how so?
It changes every time we get around a spike ball cord. No, is it going to change? I mean, we have a great relationship now. I mean, if it's going to change, it'll only be better. I can't imagine if they're just asking operationally. Is that kind of what they're getting at with that? I mean, operationally, no. I don't think right now any of that really changes. We'll kind of change the way we do things within the wing and within the group here with the stuff I just mentioned. But man, the way we operate and thrive as a tenant, as a mission partner to the 9th Recce Wing, I would hope it only continues to get better and better, and we can help our partners out here.
Yeah, I tell you, Colonel Pearson and Chief Walker, Colonel Clark and I talk to them regularly about this. And with the changes they're going through and the change of the 9th going through, it's going to get stronger, if not for anything, just to kind of capitalize on some efficiencies that already exist. And again, not to bore the audience with the operational art of it, but there will be chances for both organizations to assist each other in getting after the end goals of each. And that's probably the biggest thing without getting in the weeds. But you talk about multi-faceted or multi. What are we calling them? Multi-skilled airmen and multifaceted airmen. That our airmen are phenomenal across the Air Force, and they can do more than one thing, and they can do more than one function at a time.
Yeah.
And so Chief and I will get after how to exploit that, along with Chief Funkhauser and everybody else. All the leaders will say, "Hey, man, why can't you go help?" And you guys are doing it already, and we're going to do that across 9RW as well. So it's going to get stronger. Is the answer. What else, Sergeant Mac?
Can you talk about toxic leadership? And what does that mean to you?
Toxic leadership. So you already got 4. What did you do?
Oh, I'm
Is the computer doing it again?
No, I'm grooving right now. Trout's feeling it.
He's dancing. Toxic leadership. So there's so many different ways you can go with that. Toxic leadership is could be self-serving. It could be not trying to improve the unit. It could be, I mean, you name it. It exists, and 9 times out of 10, our airmen talk about leadership as a problem, as the retention. That's why they get out. I can't talk to it, but I can absolutely talk about how to combat it. And I think what you need to make sure you do is you make sure everybody feels inclusive. You got diversity and inclusion at every level. You explain to everybody the why, how what they do fits in to the better picture to create that unity of purpose and unity of task. And you always put the airman and the family ahead of yourself. If you're not doing that, then that absolutely can seem toxic and stovepiped and detrimental to the unit.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit different approach just for the sake of the conversation, but I'll agree with a lot of what Chief Hall said. Because that's a big question, right? It's hard to answer without talking to someone to say, hey, give me specific. What do you mean by toxic leadership? And so, kind of, I agree with everything he said. I would say sometimes I would caution people that use that term, that when you dig into it, may not actually be toxic leadership, but people making decisions that somebody maybe doesn't like, and that's not always the case. But I just think you have to be careful with that. I think we throw around that, well, it's a toxic leader. Is he a toxic leader? Is she a toxic leader? Or is there, what other variables are going on there? But absolutely, right. Our jobs as leaders, when I took the seat, right, and people go, well, what's the job of the command chief? And you kind of scratch your head when you actually get this the star, and you go, well, golly, what is my job as a command chief? And I feel like it's to make sure that airmen have the things they need to do their jobs, and to move things out of the way that can be moved that are not allowing them to do their jobs. And so I think if you're doing that stuff as a leader, that is the way to combat it. Put your airmen and their families first, and you avoid a lot of those traps.
I think also, man, toxic leadership can be perceived when nothing's founded in trust. So,
trust is huge.
So if I think every single relationship, whether it be in the military, any relationship you have in life, it needs to be founded on trust. And so if that trust is not there or it's been eroded, automatically we start questioning decisions of decision makers ahead of us, and that can be perceived as toxic. Like Chief Walker said, may not be toxic because the individual or the whole picture hasn't been painted. But if the trust is there, I don't necessarily need to paint every single picture. So
that's a great point. Yeah. That trust that's huge. That's a really, really good point.
We're at 12:30. If you guys have any additional remarks or closing statements you would like to give this chat.
Well, before I try to get it back on this with Cunha Jr. and win this thing, I'll say this: I have had a wonderful time here at Beale. It's been about 9 years since I've been here. I came out here when I was at the det, and now to come back, it's been great, and to see to have a partner here that's ready to get after things and thinks the same way, and airmen here that are just unbelievable all around. Right, I've been to the DFAC 4 times. I've dealt with lodging. I've been through the gates. Man, the airmen of the 9th Recce Wing are outstanding airmen. Out to the reconnaissance squadrons there. And this is a great place to be, with a great mission and really good leadership right now. And so I've enjoyed my time. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I think I told you yesterday. There's a lot of. It's super easy to talk about Beale from the East Coast, and then never come.
Yeah.
So right. Oh, what do you mean? It's unique, right? We got 36, miles of fence and 26,000 square feet of whatever. I mean, it's massive, 36 miles. So it's easy to sit either on the East Coast somewhere and say, hey, you guys can do this because that's exactly how Whiteman does it, or that's not the case. That there's some challenges out here. So I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
I know you're visiting your airmen, but we wanted to make sure that you understand that there's some challenges that your airmen have here just based on being at Beale.
Right.
And
Sure.
we're trying to knock those down as best we can, man. So I appreciate you coming out. I know you and I talk regularly, so this won't be the end of it. Thanks for having me over to the iLab again. This is a phenomenal facility that we can get this done, man. I appreciate it.